Hello, my name is Eric. Host Eric. I can't fucking start this over very easily. It doesn't have a stop. It has a pause. I have to basically leave GoToMeeting and rejoin it now. Now, fuck it. I'm just gonna start over. Hi, my name is Host Eric. Welcome to Talking with 50 People. I'm gonna go really quickly because I gotta go get Abraham and I got a tight time schedule in and I'm fucking around. Okay, so it's called Quaddrable Battle, the quadrant debate game. I'm really excited about this. I think we should definitely do it. We gotta just find a couple quadrables. We gotta find a couple people who are down to do the recording stuff on their ends and stuff like that. But look, 2 teams of 4. Resolution is something like the Crocodile River story. If you're not familiar with the Crocodile River story, it goes like this. There's this chick. She lives on one side of a river. Her boyfriend lives on the other side of the river. And one day there's a big flood. The bridge washes out. And the river's full of crocodiles. Man and woman eating crocodiles. They'll eat either one of them. They can't swim across to each other. And they can't see each other. And they're really pining for one another. So the lady, we'll call her Abigail, she goes down to the docks and talks to the boat captain, Conrad. Now, Conrad, he's an asshole. He's a complete fucking douchebag. And he tells her, well, I'll give you a ride over to the other side, but you're going to have to sleep with me if you want me to give you a ride over there. She's like, well, I've got $5. And he's like, well, you give me $10,000 or you can sleep with me. And she's like, no, I'm not going to sleep with you. I'm going to go talk to my friend. And so she goes and talks to her friend, Billy. Now, Billy has a boat. She says, Billy, will you take me across the river to see Frank, my boyfriend? Because Conrad says he'll only take me across the river if I sleep with him. And so then Billy's like, well, I don't really want any beef with Conrad, and this is really my problem, and, my boat kind of needs a little bit of a repair, and I'd really rather, no thank you. And so she goes back to her house. She says, well, let's see what she decides to do. And meanwhile, Frank has sent yet another message in a bottle across the river. I miss you. When can you get here? Now, Abigail goes and she tries to think of other solutions. She can't think of anything. Waits a little while. Finally, she goes back to Conrad and said, okay, fine, I'll sleep with you. So she sleeps with Conrad, and Conrad takes her across the river. She gets to the other side, and she tells the truth to Frank and says, well, look, Frank, I did get here, but I had to do this, to do that, to get here. And then Frank says, I condemn thee, and I break up with you, and get out of my house. And then she goes outside. Now, she's pissed, but she has another friend on this side of the river. His name's Ernie. And she goes to Ernie's house and says, Ernie, this is what Frank just did. I told him the truth, and he broke up with me. And so Ernie goes over to whose house? Frank's house, and punches him, beats him up, starts beating him up. And then while he's doing that, the girl, Abigail, she's laughing and saying, ha, 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 you got what you deserve. Okay, so that's the Crocodile River story. And the debate is, basically, you each have to argue that you pick one of the characters to argue that they argued least dishonorably or most honorably. They all argued that they behaved least dishonorably. They all behaved dishonorably, but you said, okay, I think that Billy behaved least dishonorably because he didn't really do anything. But this is the complicating factor. Your job is to say that Billy's behavior best upholds the 8 different values of the cognitive functions. So, if we look at the set of the 8 different values and imagine that if we prioritize one, some other one has to be diminished in some fashion. Your job then is to argue that if we were to be forced to say, you escape from this story without any moral stains upon you, character blah, then which then which one would you want to set free in that fashion and figure you're doing the least damage to the eight value whole? Okay, it's kind of a tricky explanation. We have to refine this a little bit, certain aspects of it. But the point is, then it runs like my milk lab game idea, which I'll explain more in detail later. But it's basically you have 3 plays you can make, which is establish, respond, or link. And I'm sorry, establish, respond, or play a function, and linking being the first function that happens before any other function happens when you're doing function stuff. And then it's simply a matter of establishing impacts that are either binary or sliding scale, and then either the binary ones. For the binary values, then those impacts will be one team will win the value and one team will lose the value. For the sliding scale impacts, I've got a complicating factor here, which is we need a math thing. Like if you successfully if your values at the end are standing, then the multiples of the numbers that are standing some impact from, then you get multiplied. So it's like having more values is more important than establishing strength of value on sliding scale values. That sounds complicated. Basically, you're going to argue my guy's least dishonorable. And the other team's going to argue, no, my guy's least dishonorable. And has the least widespread implications for the bad behavior. And then there's a set number of moves that can be made, and you have a bank of a certain number of functions you're allowed to play, and you can play them whenever you want, but you don't want to save them too long, or you have too many at the end, you can't play them at all. And the key thing is, when do you turn? When do you turn is the big strategy decision in the whole thing. And if you can hide your planned turns. It's a super fun game if I can teach people to play it, and if I get this thing to go, and this quadruple battle thing would be fucking awesome. I'd have to be the judge, because I understand I'd have to moderate it, right? If I get 8 people together to just sort of like be like, can we test run this shit, test run the idea, and we refine the shit out of it, and this would be so much fun. Quadruple battle? Can you imagine the fun? Can you elation times so much, okay? Because what you have here is you have the elation of being with your quadruple, but then the double elation of competing on the same team as your quadruple mates against the enemy quadruple, which is every other quadruple. Beta, gamma, delta, you're going down, motherfuckers! It's true, you are.